everybody, John 12 back here again with another video, and today is Tuesday night, and as always, I'm back with another Flash review. Now, of course, today I give you my episode review of The Flash, episode 19, titled, Who is Harrison Wells? Now, of course, if you've not seen tonight's episode, this review may contain spoilers, so please go check out the episode, then come back so we can talk about all shit awesome that happened in this episode. Nonetheless, sadly, I have to go down and be the bad guy, if you will, and just state that something that really makes me angry, which is the fact that now that we're getting closer and closer to the finale of The Flash, the Flash Season 1 finale is coming very soon. We only have less than a handful of episodes left, and for some reason, I don't know why, but the last couple of episodes of The Flash haven't really been amazing. I don't know why. It's really hard to put into words as to how I feel personally about what's happening. It's just that the last week's episode and this week's episode just haven't really been up to the standards that The Flash has kind of made already. And I knew that was inevitably going to happen, because of how good The Flash has been getting. Of course, there's going to be episodes that are not up to par with the standard that they've created for themselves, which is understandable, but now that you get to sit down, sit back and just relax and watch what's going on currently, you get a whole different kind of feel and vibe of the show itself. And I'm not trying to state that the last two episodes we've been getting are completely terrible. They're decent. They're just, it's supposed to be the calm before the storm. That's a basic analogy for these last few episodes because we're very close to the finale. So I'm kind of just wanting to get right into that already. I want to get into this vibe of what the finale is going to be all about, And of course we kind of get that with a few sequences, but overall it gets all polluted with all these various storylines that specifically aren't really portrayed well, and I don't really get that much as a fan, really get in a very entertaining feel out of them. But overall, this episode takes right after last week's episode, the biggest discussion of all Flash history, which is, of course, who is Harrison Wells? Who is the Reverse Flash? What do they have to do with each other? And of course, Team Star Labs, of course, comes in, and obviously Cisco and Caitlin have their own personal opinions on who is the real Reverse Flash. And Caitlin is obviously dealing with her own nonsense. She doesn't want to completely believe that Harrison Wells has the ability to do all the dark things that he's basically done over the course of the season, so it's very hard for her to adjust with the idea that Harrison Wells could be more than just a man in a wheelchair, but could possibly be the man in the yellow suit, the Reverse Flash. So we also have that, which I thought was a very interesting story point, which has to be the more interesting and if anything in this episode, that has to be the more interesting plot point. The second one has to be a little bit more of a fan favorite for me, which is Cisco and Joe teaming up once again, which is always enjoyable. I think their team-ups are hands down the funnest and funniest, if you will, in comparison to other team-ups that Joe has. With Joe and Barry stuff, it's more of a father-son kind of relationship, and then you have the Joe and Eddie stuff, which is a more just a business relationship kind of thing. But when you get to the core of Joe and Cisco team-ups, it's just fun and entertaining to see those characters do their thing, so it was just good to get more of that. Nonetheless, Joe and Cisco take a trip to Starling City to discover possibly something that has been, buried for years, which is, of course, the history of Harrison Wells, what exactly happened, and all that kind of nonsense. And they team up with Captain Lance. Captain Lance kind of comes in and helps them out. We also have, the Canary, Laurel comes in for a couple of sequences, which I wasn't really a big fan of. Granted, Laurel at this point in time is all over the place. There's a whole bunch of nonsense going in, but I was just not really big on the key point of her episode appearance, which is her revealing to Cisco that she's the Black Canary. Granted, the main characters, they need to know who everybody is, but this is it's a kind of a public area, and you're like willingly just telling people your secret here, your secret identity. It's like, come on. I know this is the CW DC universe, which is completely different from the other kind of DC universes out there, but I'm just not big on this like Marvel take where it's like everybody needs to know your secret. Like, too many people know everybody's secret. It's like no one really has a secret identity in the CW universe anymore, which I really think is a bad thing. I mean, I'm just saying, when did the CW universe become Marvel universe all of a sudden? It's like, unless you want to be ultra meta, hysterical kind of characters, I just find it unnecessary that you have to be like, oh, hey, I'm this guy. Hey, you saw that? He's cool, right? Yeah, I'm that guy. It's like, you don't have to get all Deadpool with me. It's alright. We have a universe for that. Stay in your own kind of universe where we don't have to deal with those type of things. I'm just saying, like, there's way too many people who know who Barry's secret is, and there's way too many people who know all the other characters in the Arrowverse who are, their secret identities on that kind of universe. It's just too many people who know each other's secrets. It's very unnecessary. That's the best way I can put it. It's just very unnecessary. As funny as anybody's kind of, personal thoughts are afterwards, like Cisco's kind of reaction to it, as funny as it could be, and funny as it has been, it's just unnecessary. You don't really need to do it. It's just a completely unnecessary story point that we don't really need in this specific episode or any episode in general. That's just my personal opinion. In the comment section below, let me know what you personally think about characters knowing other characters' secret identities. And do you think it's a good or bad thing that the CW universe is basically being very open with characters' secret identity? And what are your personal opinions on secret identities in general? I know a lot of people are 50-50 about it. A lot of people are like, no, secret identity should always be a secret. And other people are like, obviously, like, why does it matter? I mean, come on, it's let me know in the comment section below what you personally think. Nonetheless, we have our newest metahuman, and of course, it's a very Mystique-esque character, which of course the metahuman of today's week of Flash basically has the power to shapeshift. Well, not really shapeshift, but has the ability to take the appearance of every person that this specific metahuman touches, comes into contact with. So it has a very Mystique kind of thing. The only difference is that in comparison to this character, to Mystique, this specific metahuman doesn't really carry the traits of every power or ability that he comes in contact with, because in this episode, the metahuman does come in contact with Barry, and of course takes on the appearance of Barry and the Flash. But based off of what I've seen, the metahuman doesn't really technically use his power, which I think was kind of weird, because it kind of felt like, okay, well, if the metahuman comes in contact with Barry, you run the risk of him having the Speed Force. And if he has the Speed Force, then there's no way that he's ever gonna, get caught again. So there's this whole debacle within, the fight where, does he have the power? He kind of seems to have the power a few moments, but then it's obviously completely defeated. Barry obviously defeats him. And that's another thing I kind of had a problem with. Not really the fight itself, but like the lead up to the fight. Anybody who's seen this episode, spoilers, but this specific metahuman escapes more times than any other metahuman we've seen in all of the Flash. I mean, there's so many times where Barry or anybody else in Team Flash could have taken down this specific metahuman. I mean, like, from like the first moment, the second you see the guy and you see that you know what he could do, use your Speed Force to catch him already. What the heck? Like, how is it possible that that you don't have the foresight to use your power to catch him very easily? And I also kind of found it funny that no one really reacted to the Flash. I mean, like, the Flash is there in clear as day. You see him, he's standing right there. And no one really reacted that to a specific way. I thought it was kind of weird and funny. There's a lot of weird things that happen. This is like the weirdest episode of all time when it comes to the Flash. There's a lot of weird things that just came off just awkward, weird, and unnecessary for me. I mean, there's so many things I can just like pick out of the top of my head. Nobody reacting to the Flash. People who are super surprised amongst metahumans. I mean, come on. From day one to now, you would think that majority of all people of Cedra City should realize the fact that there's people out there who with specific abilities. That's just me. Secondly, or thirdly, there's a specific sequence where Iris actually goes to Star Labs, which I could be wrong about this. Let me know in the comment section below. But if I'm not mistaken, is this her first time actually in Star Labs? And how is it possible that she was not able to see the Flash suit? I mean, the Flash suit is right over there, across the hall, it clear as day, right? Nothing covering. There's no blanket covering it, all Batman style. It's right there. It's right there. How did she not see it? I mean, did they have a secret wall there that they cover it, or did she just not look over there? Her focus was on Caitlin, Barry, and the little computers. I don't know. That's just something that was really, really odd and weird. And I don't know. There's just so many weird things that happen within this episode. But amongst all things, of course, there's the creme de la creme of the episode, which is of course Joe and Cisco discovering a body within Starling City, which of course connects with Harrison Wells. So the body that they recover in Starling City is the one and true Harrison Wells, who's been dead for years, obviously. And essentially, we come to realize that the Reverse Flash is Harrison Wells, but who is this person portraying as Harrison Wells? That's the big question that these people need to that Team Flash needs to realize. And on top of that, we also have Barry defeating the Metahuman, which I thought once again it could have been done very easily. When I go back and look at it, there's tons of sequences where Barry could have took down the specific Metahuman, and of course there's the moment where Eddie actually reveals to Iris that he's been working with the Flash. And of course, you have the very nice moment with Cisco giving Laurel the canary cry, of course, for the first time ever. So now she has the secret weapon that could obviously amp up her abilities on crime fighting with Team Arrow, which I don't know how is it going to go, because Team Arrow has kind of been out of commission for a while, so I don't know how her having this specific ability is going to help anybody. But we're going to have to see and wait until the Arrow episode tomorrow. But nonetheless, besides those few things, this episode was kind of a letdown to me. I really didn't see it as amazing. I didn't see it as an extravagant moment. The only real moments that really blew me out of the water of how amazing this was, which was the Green Lantern Easter eggs. If you didn't notice, spoilers, there's a Coast City / Ferris Airlines Easter egg, which is of course from the Green Lantern universe. I'm just saying, one of these days, CW got to use Green Lantern. I just really would love to see that happen one day, and it would work perfectly, especially with the Flash, and the Jeff Johns connection there. It would just work perfectly. I just can't wait for that moment when they inevitably use Green Lantern in this universe. I just hope it's sooner than later. More than likely, it could happen in season 2, maybe, but we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, the canary cry, Laurel getting the canary cry, I also like that. I like the fact, of course, we come to the realization that Harrison Wells is the Reverse Flash, but of course now the new study is obviously finding out who exactly Harrison Wells, the person who's portraying Harrison Wells, really is. And then there's just other kind of scenarios that I really enjoyed, like Eddie, not kind of being framed, revealing his secrets to Iris, and Barry taking down the Metahuman, and those are the only real things I like. Everything else was kind of unnecessary, weird, and just completely awkward, and just even more unnecessary, just for me. So at the end of the day, I have to give this episode a 6 out of 10. It was a decent episode, just like last week's, but just not the best of the season. I really hope by next week's episode things start to pick up a little bit more, because obviously we're getting closer and closer to the finale, so we have to start getting things a little bit more amped up. But hopefully, next week will show some promise. But for me personally, this episode was just it was okay kind of episode, just nothing amazing. But overall, that's pretty much been my review, and of course we get a great, amazing post-title sequence, which of course, spoilers if you've not seen the episode, but nonetheless, Team Flash uncovers Harrison Wells's, or the Reverse Flash's, secret lair. Yes, you heard me correct. Of course, they come in contact with the Reverse Flash's suit, and they also come across the secret little HUD newspaper ad from the future that Barry actually reads. So there's a whole bunch of new epic stuff that I hope really happens and gets answered for next week's episode. So that's why I really can't wait to see what happens next week. But nonetheless, comment below. Let me know what you personally thought about tonight's episode. Did you love The Flash? Did you hate it? Did you enjoy the metahuman of the week? What did you think about the awkward Barry's Caitlin kiss scene, which I thought was hysterical, unnecessary but hysterical? What did you think about the metahuman twist? What do you think Harrison Wells is going to do next week? What are your personal thoughts on Green Lantern ever appearing on The Flash? Would you like to see it? And if you will or do, what version of the Green Lanterns would you rather see? Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner? Let me know in the comment section below, of course. And also, if you've not done so already, check out my Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice official teaser trailer review. Of course, if you enjoyed my DC stuff over the course of the last 2 years, then you're definitely going to enjoy my review of, hands down, one of the biggest DC crossovers of all time, which is Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Definitely check out my review for that teaser trailer, and of course come back tomorrow for some Arrow stuff. I'm not really looking forward to tomorrow's Arrow episode. I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be nothing but straight up fan service, but I'm definitely going to give you a review on that. But nonetheless, let me know what you thought about tonight's episode. Let me know what your personal speculation and future thoughts for the finale and everything awesome. Comment below, let me know. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I hope everybody's enjoyed, and this has been John 12.